Welcome. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Hopefully, it's not in the middle of the night. If it is, you are probably worth a trophy if you are attending my trainings in the middle of the night. Welcome. If you're new here, my name is Petra. These are advanced trainings with Healy, and we've been doing them for over 2 years now. And yeah, it's fun for a lot of things. We're discovering and exploring a lot of things. So tonight, I am, Andalusia. I love Andalusia. Welcome from Spain. I love that. Okay, let me just pop this so you can have translations so I can share. So tonight we are looking at Australian bush flower essences and the plant foundation for emotional balance. We are going to look at a bit of other things as well, because Australian bush flowers are not just emotional balance, and we're going to look at that. But before we go into that, for anyone that needs translations, wherever you are in the world, please use Wordly. You can scan this QR code if you like to. You can open up your app. If you don't have it, you can download it. You can choose the language that you would like to have your translation in. So you can listen to me while we are sharing the knowledge, and this will give you captions in your language. But without further ado, we are going to dive into bush flower essences, especially Australian bush flower essences tonight, and we are going to look at a lot of aspects of it. But before we do, as always, our disclaimers. We know that science, as we know it today, conventional science does not acknowledge the existence of the information field yet. And anything that goes with it, the analysis, the harmonization, and other importances due to the lack of scientific evidence. So make sure that you take all these slides and everything I say and everything we explore here with a grain of salt and as an education. Make sure that this is, my Zoom, I'll pop it here, that this is just a base for you to explore, and not the only truth. And I always say that no matter what, that you should be exploring that for yourself. And, oh, am I recording? Yeah. Let me see. Yes, I am. Sorry. I just had a thought in between. So make sure that you take everything as education. Make sure that you implement it for yourself. You make your own personal decisions, and including your Healy and Mag Healy devices. Please use them with recommendations of what Healy is recommending, as well as tuning in with your body. Because we know that although we love Healy and Mag Healy, they're amazing, they are not intended to cure, treat, mitigate, diagnose, or prevent any disease or medical condition. So if there's any medical questions, please direct them to your general practitioner or medical doctor, or whoever you are being looked after. So make sure that you are using Healy and Meg Healy as a support and as a wellness device, and not to cure or mitigate anything. So tonight, when I was doing and preparing the content for Australian bush flower essences, I found that there is not a lot of training from Healy or anyone else on Australian bush flower essences, which really surprised me, because I love them, if I'm honest. I actually use them more than Bach flowers. So I would actually love to know, so pop it in the chat. I would love to know, as always, I'd like to know and explore with you. Have you used Australian bush flower essences within your Blue app, which is the Resonance app, because that's where the database is, with Healy? If you have used them before, just let me know yes or no, whatever it is, in the comments. Welcome from Turkey. Great, I love that. Europe. Welcome from Europe, guys. India, you're welcome. Perfect. Yes, frequently. Amazing. Of course, Jeffrey, I know you would use them frequently. That works with you a lot. You work with that area anyway. So, yes, with Healy, perfect. Hi, Brunei, beautiful. Thank you. Okay, not yet. Perfect. Something to explore. Yes, I did, and we have had good trainings here in Romania. Oh, amazing. And bush flowers. Okay, IT representative. Oh, amazing. Would love to hear your experiences. I always love to learn from people that very effective. Yes, they really are. I also got Australian bush flowers in real, but they were different than the Gila resonance. Um, yes, because real Healy, so real Australian bush flowers are like normal Bach flowers. They are tinctures, yeah. So they literally will take a look at that. I just wanted to. So there's a complementary effect of it. So we have a frequency and we have a proper frequency that's diluted in the water, and we're going to look at how that works on the body and how they complement each other with frequency. I do this daily. Perfect. Eager to know more about. Perfect. Awesome. So, because Australian bushflower essences, a lot of people are not using it regularly, which is really something that surprises me because when we look at Australian bushflower essences, it's a long thing, yeah. So I'm just going to call them bushflowers. Australia, as I live in Australia, and a lot of you do, and some of you don't, and if you haven't been in Australia, Australia is a country in a land that it's quite different from anywhere else in the world. And for a person like me that's quite in tune in energy, and wherever I go, I have enormous downloads of energies and information. Australia has always been a land that drew me like from the heart. And the energy here and the knowledge is immense. Yes, and the plants and the fauna and the land itself has a really, really, really intense energy, like intense in a way of ancient and really deep and really a lot of extremes as well. But that's actually something that really helps us understand why they're so good, not good or bad, but why they are so effective, in my view and my experience, even sometimes more effective than Bach flowers for my well-being, and my experience. And I'm not saying that that's for everyone. Than the Bach flowers. So we're going to look at that. So when we look at Australian bush flowers, what are they? So in their core, Australian bushflower essence specifically, are actually vibrational medicines. So they capture the energetic imprint of the native Australian flora to address imbalances across physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual levels. And for those of you who are from Australia, spiritual level is actually the one that's most important, especially to the Aboriginal people. And because everything is created in spiritual, meaning energetic, what we call quantum field in the field, and everything steams out of that spiritual level, and all the imbalances and disturbances come from the spiritual level and dilute into the emotional, mental, physical, yeah, and they need to be addressed in the spiritual level. And unlike herbal remedies, when we have tinctures of herbs or anything that we take orally or physically from herbs, they rely on physical. So the herbal medicine actually relies on the physical plant material. So we need the plants and we need to dilute them. We need to put tinctures into things, and then our body needs to kind of dissolve them and kind of change and transform them into something that the body can use. But these essences, they only carry the frequency or the life force of the flower. Yeah. With Australian bush essences, there are some exceptions in there, like green essences, which are literally from the frequency implant of specific herbs for cleansing. but majority of it are literally from the flowers. And they're distilled through a process of solar infusion. So sun is really important here, because sun is what transmits that frequency through light into the imprint of water. And with Australian bushflower essences, they actually use brandy as a base, but they dilute it so much that it's only literally just to preserve the essence. You can't really feel the alcohol. But otherwise, it wouldn't. You could do it without, but it wouldn't last as long. It would be only like up to 4 weeks. But with the brandy and dilution, it actually can take up to It can last up to 4 years. So each essence actually holds a unique signature. So that's a frequency, which is like our fingerprint, and that's actually a signature of the plant flower. So that's literally their fingerprint, and it's resonating with specific aspects of human experience. So we're going to look at how these were created and why they resonate with specific experience, and why I really love the approach that was used within these essences, and because there was a lot of tradition in it. But it has a huge variety and a huge oppositions, going from releasing deep-seated fears and traumas up to awakening higher states of awareness. So we have an all in between. And with Australian bushflower essences, we also have more flower essences than with Bach flowers. Yeah, like twice as more. So they can address specific needs. So Australian bushflower essences were actually developed by a naturopath named Ian White, and he started developing them in about 1987, and then it was a process of creation. And Ian White is actually a fifth generation Australian herbalist and naturopath. So he was born in a family of herbalists, and this is something that he has learned since the beginning. And he had a lot of connection with the Aboriginal culture as well since he was little. So this is something that came out of him, and out of his path. And these essences were actually inspired by his family's herbal legacy, because all of his family was literally creating herbs and connecting with the plants and having really specific and beautiful relationships. And he was inspired also by Dr. Edward Bach, to create these essences and present the energy of Australian land, that was actually quite unique, because it was representing the reflection of the modern time. And Ian actually tapped into the Australian unique wildflowers. Yeah, so the specific wildflowers that are quite rare, and some of them are not, but some of them are. And they represent the proper pure essence of the land where they actually grow, and also the indigenous plant wisdom. So he connected with the indigenous tribes and indigenous people to understand the history of it, of all the aspects of these plants. And he was blending the tradition of this land, which is the oldest land in the world currently, and the traditions and cultures are the oldest in the world currently in Australia, with his own intuition and, of course, knowledge that he got from generations of herbal medicine. And he created a modern system. This is a really important distinction between Bach flowers and Australian bushflowers, is that Australian bushflowers are literally a modern system. They're tailored to today's emotional and energetic needs, because they literally work with specific traumas. They work with the modern stress life. They work with the transformations of the healers and practitioners, and they address so many different elements and levels of our consciousness and subconscious energetics. So I really fell in love with these when Healy came out, and I've been using it actually more than Bach flowers, because I do feel, for me, my experience is that they are much more intense. They go deeper for me. And I feel that I get a faster effect when I actually work with them. And I love that they have so many different elements and varieties, and they span from really gentle to really deep releases. And I that's my experience. Of course, I would love to hear anybody else's experience, but that is how I love working with them. And I'm going to show you how to do that as well. Okay, so why Australian bush flower essences? So, first of all, they come from Australian rugged, ancient landscape. So you need to understand this is the land of contrasts. And if we look at, for example, think of alpine peaks and deserts, right? They don't have mountains like Alps here, but we do have extremes: red soil and aqua sea, like this colored Mercury is retrograde, so I'm literally not getting words out. So we have a lot of oppositions and a lot of tough land. Yeah. So the flowers and the plants that are living here on this land, they need to be resilient, they need to be adaptable, and they need to survive long periods of time without water. Sometimes, they need to actually hold their own food. So this gives you an energy of resilience within the energy of the plant. And if we look at today's world, the the point of balancing everything is because everything is so stressful. Everything has so much oppositions. We are always in conflicts, and we are looking for that balance. And these energies are so potent and so appropriate for today's modern life. And they also pack a raw, resilient punch. Yeah. If you have ever vibrated Australian bushflower essences in Healy or Bach flowers, for me, when I feel them energetically, Bach flowers are like a gentle hug. Yeah. Where Australian bushflowers for me are like, this is who I am, this is my integrity, take me or leave me. So this is like a really strong energy presenting itself without justification and literally presenting its full intensity. And that's why I love it, because they're so honest, they're so raw. And the frequencies, they literally work with the body, and they work with the body endlessly and effortlessly. And they literally present themselves of service, which is something that to me is feeling it in the body. That's something that I really love, because those are also my values as well. So, as I said, perfect for today's world. And when we have our emotional storms, this is where we actually soothe them. They also cover 68 essences. With comparing with Bach flowers, they only have 38. Yeah. And they tackle from deep modern issues like ancestral trauma. Yeah. We have Boab, which is really powerful. So be mindful when these things come up. And I'm going to show you today, we're going to look at a scan. These are really powerful frequencies. So make sure that you honor them and that you literally approach them with respect, because otherwise you're going to have chaos, just letting you know. Yeah. And trust wounds, for example, or and we want to look at other aspects of those plant essences, because they all have physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual aspects. And when we're going to look at a deeper insight, I'm going to share you my research, and I'm going to give you a deep insight into that. And you're going to see how deeply you can go and understand why certain things come up for you. And they also tie into indigenous, oh, where am I? Sorry. Yeah, so they dig into complex, layered emotions, allowing a deeper release. This is what I love about these. So for me, Bach flowers, they address certain emotions, but I feel sometimes I can't go as deep with them. For me, Australian bushflower essences, they have layered emotional expressions and connected to the physical and the mental and the spiritual, which means I can actually address certain things that are coming up for me in a much deeper level. And I love this. This is something that I love doing. And for those of you who don't love the depth right now, or you can't handle the depth, that's okay. Use a bit more gentle approach with Bach flowers. But for me, this is something that I really, really love, is because they don't mess around. These frequencies, they don't mess around. They just go in directly, literally start balancing what needs to come out and what needs to be transformed. And this, I had the most powerful experiences with Australian bushflower essences. Things changing in an instant while I was vibrating a 6-minute list, like a physical release, an emotional release, and then emotions coming up, and in within a day things and shifted and transformed. Like for me, those are the things that I'm experiencing. That's why I love these shifts. I do also have awareness and a lot of tools that I can actually shift things really fast. And I'm aware and catch things really fast. But if you're not there, that's okay. Just make sure that you adjust the timings that you're scanning. But if you want to go deeper and things are coming up again and again and again, you want to find something that goes deeper to actually tackle things that are underneath the carpet, underneath the surface, right? And they also tie into Indigenous wisdom and Australians' unique spirit of the oldest land and culture in the world. So we are dealing with the frequency of something that's ancient. And this holds the vibration of ancient knowledge. And this is how I feel when I actually vibrate this to my body. I feel like I'm remembering things that are ancient within me as well, where I align with those Australian bushflower essences. And that is my experience and my experience only. I'm not saying that this needs to be yours, but this is what I'm experiencing. They also feel current. Yeah, they are current, bold, and expansive. They really stretch you, and they really tackle the things that right now in the modern world we are facing. And that's why they are so appropriate to be used right now when we are transforming things, especially right now when we are in retrograde and equinox today, and there's a lot of, it's a proper washing machine of old traumas literally finishing. So if you've been having a lot of emotional stress, if you have been having a lot of old stuff surfacing, like old emotions, old traumas, things resurfacing, this is the time. Till mid-April, we are all in a washing machine. So I'm literally running this every single day, just letting you know. So for me, this is really good. And I'm going to show you why, because there's things that are coming up like Boab, which is ancestral trauma. You can actually really tackle those things and release them out of your field and really help yourself with the frequencies and energies that we are currently having present wise. We can use this, to move the momentum. What I do love is also because they are literally supporting the modern world. And in the modern world, because they are so current, they are resonating with today's seekers. So if you're seeking yourself, you're seeking something else, you're seeking the truth of who you are and what you would like, your purpose. With practitioners, there's essences here that actually help practitioners if they're overwhelmed or if they are overgiving. Yeah, so to balance that back. And also healers, they are like Australian Aboriginals, they have shamans, right? They have old healers and knowledgeable shaman people that actually have the knowledge of healing, and they understand the receiving and giving aspect of it and how to actually balance that. And those plants have the intuitive knowledge of that as well. So we're going to look at things in a scan so you can see it a bit differently. So why use Australian bushflower essences with Healy? So wind essence, we know now that when we have them in tinctures, they have the frequency through sun exposure imprinted into the water of that tincture. So when the body actually absorbs the water, we get the effect, yeah, especially if it's sublingual, but it takes a while before it gets to the meridians and it gets to actually your field outside of your body, which is also inside, but your torus field, because meridians feed, so the nervous system feeds the meridians, meridians feeds the the energetic field. So when we are taking it orally, orally is good to focus on one issue or challenge at a time and not combine more than 3 essences together. But with Healy, we can do a combination of 5, and we are literally amplifying, not so intensifying, but amplifying the effect of it, because we are delivering it directly to the field. So we are literally bridging the gap, and it's faster because we are literally talking to the quantum field. We don't have to go passing through the body systems on a physical level, because physical level energy is slower than the energetic level, spiritual level. So the frequency runs faster or slower depending on the frequency that it works on. So quantum field is really an important part, and Healy works on a quantum field. That's why applying those frequencies, it's actually really fast and effective. So as I always say, less is more. Start with less and then build up the timing if you need to, or the frequency of the application throughout the day. It's also personal precision. So if you are using physical essences, you are tackling a specific problem. But here you are literally scanning your field, and you're using Healy's quantum sensor to understand what is really going on underneath the surface. Because we sometimes consciously don't understand what's really disturbing our energy. And Healy can tell us that. And that's the beauty of it. Yeah. And as well, when we apply frequency, we are amplifying the effect and impact that we have on the shift of the frequency. And of course, with the modern age, these frequencies are beautiful because they work with the quantum field of Healy. And they also really were made for the modern world. And of course, with the Healy quantum field and the easy application, we can literally apply this anywhere. It's really effortless to take with you. And of course, as I said before, we can create custom blends because Healy offers us top 5 essences on the scan. You can always delete 1 or 2 if you want to, if that you don't want them in there in a vibration. But I love to work with 5, and I actually go deeper. I do a deeper dive into understanding the patterns that are emerging, so I can see what's really combining and bumping into each other to actually have that disturbance in the field, because it will always come up with a really clear information. And as I said, time saver. So you don't have to take oral drops. Sometimes you forget. With Healy, you just vibrate. And I tend to do that in the morning with my meditation. I like to do that. I just vibrate for 6 minutes and then I go off my day, and I do other programs to support me. But you can do that in the evening if you want to. You can do it overnight, whatever you would like to. And of course, it's harmonized energy. Essences are frequencies, Healy is frequency, and literally we are just applying the fingerprint of a plant through a quantum field. That's all it is. So Healy is a great tool, especially for the flower essences, either Bach flowers or Australian bush flowers. But these essences really go deep. So be mindful how you apply them. Have respect when you actually do them. So you can order them. So these are all 68 essences. Don't stress, I'll give you all of these. So you don't have to write it all or screenshot it, and then cut it all out. It's going to be in the Facebook group. So if you don't know, if you have never been on these trainings or not in the Facebook group yet, please scroll up to this chat in the Zoom. At the top, I literally posted a message for all the recordings are in the Facebook group. And you can always ask questions. I always add all your slides in there. Any protocols or anything that you need are always in the comments of the training post. So these are all 68 Australian bush flower essences. As you see, there's quite a lot of them. Yeah, so we're not going to cover all of them today, but don't worry, I'll give you a mini guidebook so you can have all of the basics. So don't stress, you're going to get all this. As you know, I always do that for you. So when you look at how they are actually affecting us, this is just a short description, meaning of giving us an insight of what is this essence really about. So when we look at alpine mint bush, for example, it revitalizes exhaustion, restores vitality across all levels, which means that if you are really exhausted, it helps to boost not only the energetics and emotional system, but physical systems as well. And for example, bush iris, or let's say boab, like we said before, it actually frees inherited trauma. So anything that has to do with ancestral trauma, anything that is passed down through generations, and it liberates soul from lineage. So it literally it dissolves contracts. Yeah, linear and ancestral contracts, which is powerful. So make sure to be really respectful with this one. And then bush iris, for example, it awakens spiritual vision and it eases existential fear, meaning it promotes surrender and letting go of survival. It promotes the connection to the spirit, yourself, and your essence, which is amazing. So when you literally feel the vibration of these essences, they are powerful. They're really strong. And for example, Varath, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but it builds courage and heals despair. So it really helps you build that integrity and helps you build and move you out of any fears that of unknown in the future. So let's look at the scan now. So I'm gonna actually stop sharing this. So I'm gonna show you. How do I do this here? I'm gonna show you where to find. Wait, let me go here. Where to find them, so how you can scan them if you've never done that before, just quickly, because majority of you that are here know how to do that. So you go into the blue app, so that will be this little blue app, yeah, and you're gonna go into the third from the top, which is the purple one, so that's this one, yeah, and you're gonna go and click on a plus sign. Oh great, Healy disconnected again, sorry, too many Healys around. That's what happens when you have too many devices. It automatically disconnects and wants to connect to something else. Okay, so you go into the little plus sign and you're gonna find a straight, don't mind me, I have the old database, so I have doubled. So you're gonna find Australian bush flowers 68. And then if you wanna see them, what they are, you can click further info on this database and you're gonna see all the database of all the bush flowers in here. Yeah, otherwise you're going to start analysis. Yeah, I'm not going to start analysis because we don't have time to do that right now, but I am going to show you analysis of a person that I've done I think it was like 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, and I'm going to show you how that looks like. So we're going to go and dive deeper into the analysis. I'm just going to stop this one and I'm going to share with you the analysis. Here we go. So when we scan this top 5 Australian bush flower essences that come up, it will always give you the percentage, which is the relevance right now. Yes. This means that if you scan every single day, do analysis every single day, in a week or two, you can actually gather patterns. So you can see if the percentage is going up or down, if the same essence is coming up again and again and again. So then you can actually discover patterns of what's going on and what's disturbing your energetic field. So when we look at the gray spider, this is what came up for this person. It came up as a gray spider flower and alpine mint bush, all 59%. Yeah. So anything over 50, I would say it needs attention. So this is not really a lot, like huge over 50, but it is disturbing the field. So the lower the percentage of relevance with Australian bush flowers, unless it's a positive effect, you wanted a lower percentage. Yeah. It doesn't give you a lot in Healy, but the frequency still stands. So if you vibrate, it will give you all this that I actually gave you. This is my personal research, yeah, and I've put this together. So you can go and dive deeper. So when we look at the desired state, it says trust, composure, and courage. This could be on any level. And then sometimes, you know, when you look at that essence, you go, okay, do I need to build trust or am I trusting myself? So how is this coming up in my life and where is this coming up? So what do I look for in my own life? So how can I make it aware, bring it into awareness and make myself aware of it so I can transform it and shift it? So when you go into the imbalances, is the balance outcome of this frequency. It gives you some insights. So for example, the imbalanced outcome of the gray spider flower is supernatural and psychic attack. Okay, don't panic. This just means that either there's not enough, the nervous system is too agitated and your energetic field is open. Yeah, so a lot of other energies can come in and give you energy. Second, it could also, and probably combined, it also means that you don't, or this person in this case, doesn't have strong energetic boundaries, meaning that other people are actually using their energy and they are allowing them to use their energy. And the second one is upsetting dreams. So this can also happen within the dream space. So when we have nightmares or disturbing dreams where we are literally processing the patterns within our field, because our brain needs to process certain things when we get overloaded. And the balanced outcome of this frequency is faith, calm, and courage. So this might not give you a lot, but if you look at the aspect of the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, you will understand what this essence is actually suggesting and actually telling you. So when we actually had a session with this person, I read this, and they said to me, you know, but I don't understand where this is coming from. So let's look at the levels. So when we look at the physical, it literally tells us grounds a panicked body. Yeah, racing heart, shaky limbs, supporting adrenal calm. It steadies you. And I was asking that person, are you feeling like overwhelmed, stress, and you feel like you're shaking and things are not moving and you're afraid that things will not go the way you want it to? And the person said, yes, extremely. Because there was fears coming up, and we will see with the next one that comes up and the next one, everything connects. So on the emotional level, this frequency lifts deep terror or primal fear. So what comes up when we have gray spider flower, normally it connects to phobias, yeah, like spider phobias or whatever phobias, but it restores the faith emotionally that we are supported, and it brings up the deep-seated fears that we are not even aware of. So sometimes you can be anxious and shaking, and your nervous system can be agitated, but you don't even know where it's coming from because it's so deep in the body. And it's overwhelming them. Yeah. And mentally, it calms catastrophic thinking, meaning the worst case scenario. Yeah. Instead of focusing on the positive and being supported, our brain goes through worst case scenarios because there's deep seated fear underneath. This brings us rational peace, the gray spider flower, the balanced version of it. And it also gives us that peace amongst the chaos when we still feel the fear. And when we look at the spiritual aspect, again, everything happens on the spiritual. It anchors trust in divine protection. So we understand that we are protected and supported every step of the way. So what is this teaching us? That no matter the fears, no matter the chaos, no matter the anxious feelings in the body for this person, we need to surrender, or that person needs to surrender and needs to trust that everything will be okay. Because if they do that on an energetic, spiritual level, everything else will settle. And this energy, this frequency, when vibrated with Healy, literally sends that message into the body and settles the body. And then our bodies feel safe, which aligning with safety. Yeah. It also, I also, when I was creating this and meditating on this, I created some affirmations, and I like to do affirmations when I feel into things, and then I feel them with the emotions, so I can actually start transforming things within my energy. Yeah. So when we look at the next one, which is alpine mint bush, which is also 59%, which is interesting that two came at the same relevance, and you will see how beautifully they connect, because it says in the Healy, revival, revitalization, joy, and renewal. These are also the balanced qualities, right? But the imbalanced to explore are a heaviness stealing joy, where caregivers, this could be someone that's really caring for someone as a caregiver, or it could be healers or people that are overgiving. This could also be connected to people pleasing. Yeah. Or they feel weighted down by responsibility, taking on themselves too much. And this is a beautiful example of how this combines with this. When we have heaviness, and when we look at the physical and spiritual and mental, you will see how they really connect. If we look at just the physical, for the alpine mint, bush is the essence revitalizes an exhausted body. So fear, yeah, brings exhaustion. So not trusting is exhausting this person's body, and it needs revitalization. And this is literally, this alpine mint bush is connected to when we have adrenal glands that are literally exhausted, and they've been under chronic stress and overwork and overload for too much and too long, and the body really feels exhausted. And that normally comes when we have adrenal, depletion from fear, stress, anxiety, things that are outside or things that are within us. In this case, within us, because this for this person, this was deep-seated fear that they were not aware of, and it was literally draining their physical body. So you can see the connections and how they flow. But if we look at the spiritual part of this, it's saying it renews your connection to life's purpose. So if you're always in fear, you have no purpose, you're in contraction. Yeah, and it's actually lifting the veil, because fear contracts and we don't see the real reality, and lifting the veil of exhaustion to reveal your soul resilience, so you can see your true power. So when you actually trust in your true power and you let go of that fear and surrender, you are now allowing your body to actually regenerate. Yeah. So there's another one that actually came at the same relevance, 59. And you will see that this is bush iris, and it calls awakening of spirituality, continuous perception and understanding also on the material plane, meaning that this person needs to connect to themselves more so they can actually allow the body to regenerate, they can allow the fears to be released, and they know that they are supported no matter what. So when you start really digging deep into those structures and the expression of these frequencies, you will understand so much about yourself. And these are powerful frequencies, and they tell you so much. And you can then align the patterns and go deeper and deeper to see what you need to do to move forward and transform. So bush iris, if it is in balance, it says, this one is really important. So it says materialism, atheism, and physical excess or avarice, which is extreme greed or aim for material gain. So this can be really looked at on a physical level. But when we go deeper, you will see that on a physical level, this frequency actually supports lymphatic cleansing and easing fear, health, stagnation. So fear, that was first, yeah, with both the first frequencies, is now stuck here without spiritual connection. And this on a physical level makes the body heavy and tense. And on a spiritual, it actually awakens higher vision and connecting to a divine. It's actually a frequency of transcendence aligning with spirit. But it's not material. It can also be anxiety, anxiety of death or purpose. But normally, if we look at the materialism, it's actually existential fears or survival fears of existence with physical support like money that we live in, right? So this is really important to understand, because when you have just the basics, this could just mean that somebody is too much on a physical level and they're actually not connecting outside, expanding. Yeah. So they're living too much in anxiety and fear on a physical frequency and not actually aligning and asking for help and communicating outside of themselves. So then Boab came up at 56, which we know is ancestral trauma. And it's literally moving things out, like family patterns, like abuse, prejudice. It can also be existential trauma. So like survival and feelings of lack. Yeah. And Boab actually liberates anything that is ancestral, like even mental patterns and emotional patterns. And it really breaks those chains, creating a new rebirth. Yeah. And then the last one that came up was Billy Goat Plum, which is acceptance of one's own body. Sexual enjoyment, body, mind, soul are perceived as one. So sexual enjoyment can also be creativity. So when we look at, this is a lot of to do with shame, guilt, anything that's, again, as Bob came up, ancestral. It could be something passed down through generations or being conditioned. Yeah. So these things are coming up. This just means to me that this person is healing, and it's looking at what's really not working for them. And it's looking at how to transform those patterns, emotional, physical. And because balanced outcome of Billy Goat Plum is sexual ease and enjoyment, which can be sexual creative energy, enjoyment of themselves and life that they have, acceptance of one physical body. Yeah. There's two things here we need to understand. So one is looking yourself in the mirror and saying, I have a beautiful body, or not accepting your body. The other one is the emotional and mental perception, which means you can look at yourself in the body, in the mirror, and say, I love my body. But the emotions that you're feeling is, I want to be someone, I want to be closer to someone like that, or I wish I could be like that, or if I just be like this. So although you love your body, the mental and the emotional perceptions are not there yet. So those are not aligned. So make sure that you look at all the levels, not just the physical aspect of it. Yeah. And this also opens up your mind, meaning it's expanding you. Yeah. And of course, you can go deeper and deeper. And then what I love to do with these, because they give me so much information and it gives me so much insight into myself, I like to look at the emerging patterns. So when I look at this scan with a client, we looked at what was coming up. And it was coming up as releasing fear and stepping into trust, meaning I need to trust myself and I need to trust my path where my intuition is taking me. And recovering from exhaustion, restoring joy, meaning that if the body was depleted for this person, they need more joy in order to regenerate. And then activating intuition and embracing spiritual insight, meaning connection to self, listening to the inner voice. And it's that will help that person to bring more joy into their life and to trust more. It's all connected. Yeah. And then of course, clearing generational trauma and outdated conditioning, meaning that mental patterns, emotional patterns, and anything that is in the lineage of ancestral part needs to go. Because probably this person, and I know this is my client, this person actually is the pattern breaker in the family. So it's normal that Boab is coming up because they're cleaning the ancestral trauma. They're breaking the patterns. They're cleaning the mental patterns and beliefs. They're cleaning the emotional attachments. And right now, this is the space to do it anyway. And then healing shame and embracing self-worth. Yeah, so allowing themselves to believe in themselves, to build trust, to bring back joy, to trust their intuition, and actually clear out whatever needs to be cleared. So you can see the patterns that are coming up from one scan, and how much you can actually get from the top five essences, and how deep you can go. And this is literally, I'm just letting you know, this is just scratching the surface. If I would give you the depth that I really go into, and the exercises that come with it, and how you transform that within the body, that takes you to a whole new level. But for the beginning, you can vibrate this within your Healy. You can do different elements. So you can do, like Healy recommends, 8 times per day, 37 seconds. Yeah, you can do it all together, or you can do it, throughout the day. You can also start with 4 times per day, 1 minute and 20 seconds. What I like to do, I like to do 6 minutes. And eventually, when I do, the same scan for a week, and then I focus on a specific aspect for a week, and I vibrate that 6 minutes every single day for a week, and then the 7th day is the pause and the reflection. But I actually do that for a week, and then rescan another week, and I do that for 4 weeks, because I literally look at the aspects that are coming up, and I focus on a specific aspect. But you can do 12 minutes, you can do 27 minutes. Try whatever works for you. But I would start small and then build up if you need to. Yeah. I find that with these frequencies, with Australian bush flower essences, I need less. So for my body, I need 6 minutes, because I tried 12 and 27 and they were too much for me. So I like this for me, but you can try anything else that you would like to do. What now from here? So what do you do from here? You have scanned, you have vibrated, you looked at the insight, you got the insights from the patterns that are emerging, you got the information of what area in your life is this actually happening in, what is transforming. So, but how do I transform? So from here, you can deepen your exploration with somatic exercises. Remember, fascia is literally your second brain. I would say first, but second brain. And it has and holds emotions that have been suppressed for eons. Yeah. And it's really important to understand, if you're just vibrating into the field and you're not really working with your body somatically, you're not allowing your body to discharge. So make sure that you work with your body somatically. You can also expand your perception and gain new insights. You can meditate through meditation. And breath work. You can meditate on specific patterns. You can meditate on the insights that you gained. And you can actually bring up memories and things from your body. So you can actually bring them into awareness. Through breath work, you can do the same thing. You can also explore emotional landscape. What emotions are coming up? You can journal. You can actually do emotional releases, so you can allow your body to release what's not serving it anymore. And you can also build resilience of your mind beliefs and mental beliefs, through your mental perception changes. So reframing, reframing things, seeing it from different perspective, and allowing yourself to have role plays within yourself and have conversations. And of course, use Healy with consistency so you can get best results. If you don't use Healy with consistency and you're just flapping around your frequencies, you're not going to see changes, like constant changes, and see shifts within your body. Okay, so that it is from me today. Any questions? Please raise your hand if you have any questions. If not, I'll pop and see in the chat if there's anything else that you had questions about. I am going to share a mini guide for you in the group, so you can get the imbalances and balanced energies and a description of these beautiful essences, so you can get that downloaded in the group. And of course, the slides that I have as well, so you can access those. I love Australia too. Yes, Jeffrey. Anything that is, it's like, it's really interesting to me when people say, when you dilute things, they're not as potent. But then I'm thinking, when you use energy, the further away you go, the more intense it is. So think of it that way, right? In the world we live in that is not physical, the things that we think are the most potent are literally the opposite. Yeah, and we have the yin and yang explanations. What exactly do you mean when you say approach them with respect? um, I want to see your answer, Jeffrey. 5 remedies at the time is fine, but the more you add, then the more options you will see in every situation. 6 is the recommended maximum. Over time, I did train myself to get up to 90. Oh my God. 19? Are you crazy? Before I fell apart. Yes. Before I fell apart. Yeah, we kind of start dissolving after frequency. Yes, so approach them with respect means that when we look at Aboriginal cultures anywhere in the world, right, they teach us respect to anything around us and as well to ourselves, because everything has its own purpose and it has its own power. So when we actually don't come with respect, so what I like to do when I do Australian bushfire essences or anything that I actually scan on Healy, I approach them with the respect of, I am here to actually learn. I'm not here to know everything. I'm not here to be a smartass. I'm not here to just vibrate and disconnect. I'm here to honor your space. And if you honor my space, we can help each other. That's what respect is. And we need to bring that back, because if we are just consuming nonstop and thinking that everything is here just to help us, yeah, and we're not actually giving anything back, that is not mutual respect. That is extortion and it's a manipulation energy. So make sure that what you give out, you will also receive, because it's a reciprocal, how do you call it? Reciprocal energy. So make sure that if you want to receive healing and love and respect, make sure that you approach anything that you're working with that energy. Okay, question. Do you get a new analysis every day, or do you work with the same analysis for about a week? So as I said, for me, I work with different aspects every week. So I scan at the beginning of the week, and then I actually vibrate the same thing, and I meditate on things, and I really look at what's coming up. So I don't just vibrate because of vibrating. I vibrate because I explore and learn from it. I use it as a learning platform. And while I learn, I bring things to the conscious level. And when I bring things to the conscious level, I'm now implementing the frequency that it's being applied to the field, and I'm bringing it into the physical level. So I have a faster transformation. This is me, and this is by no means that you need to do this, but I find that in certain aspects, for example, if I have low percentages and certain aspects can be shifted really fast, I then do a scan in between. Like if I feel the shift after 3 days, I will do a new scan. I will still do a scan, and I will still work on the, for example, physical aspect for the first week, but I would work on it like that. The first part would shift, and then the second part, I would go deeper to actually work and transform. And then I would work on an emotional level and work with the new scan. So this is how I do it, but you're more than welcome to do a new scan every day if you want to, if that's something you would like. But if you don't see shifts and the same things are coming up, then I would recommend you to actually go deeper to actually see what's coming up for you so you can transform it. Um, um, Yes, so all the files are in the Facebook group, so you will find them underneath the posts in the comments. And the training posts are always under the guides, and you will find advanced training guides for 2024 and 2025, and you have all of the posts in there. Always combine your analysis with your inner wisdom, because that's how you bring them into conscious level. Yeah, otherwise it's like I shouldn't be saying this, but we have a saying in my country. Yeah. It's a really bad saying. I'm going to translate this into English now, but please forgive me. I'm going to use better words. So we have a saying that if you throw poo, cow poo, yeah, onto the wall, yeah, you can't expect it to stick every single time. Yeah. So you need to actually work with the cow poo, cow poo being your scan and your intentions and your personal work. So you can't just expect it to just do the work and stick every single time if you're not doing the work. So just throwing things around and applying frequencies, it's not going to make it prettier. Yeah. So make sure that you tend to yourself. That's why you're here, is to learn, to grow, to expand, to make yourself the best version of you, to remember everything that you are and let go of everything that you are not. That's why Healy is here. It's a bridge. It's a bridge between the imbalanced version of you that you currently are. That's why you're seeking the balanced version of you, because you're in the imbalanced version of you. And Healy helps you bridge the gap between the imbalance and the balanced version of you, because it's showing you what's missing. It's showing you what needs balance. It's showing you where you need to go. So make sure that you take that knowledge and actually start learning. Yeah. Great. If 27 minutes works for you, go for that. Yeah. You have to vibrate all together. Or is it possible to vibrate each remedy individually? No, the only way to vibrate in each remedy individually is if you would delete 4 of them. And then you would vibrate that one. Yeah, you can do that. But I find it much more effective if I vibrate all 5 of them, because they always come up. As I said, like we looked at the analysis, there are patterns that are emerging. And those top 5 remedies are combining things, elements, and energies together that are coherently supporting each other. And when you vibrate all 5 of them, you're working on different layers of yourself and at the same time. So if you're also meditating and literally bringing that to awareness, you're now not only shifting the energy on the energetic field and then emotional and mental, but you're also shifting it on a physical level. So you're now literally like a magnet pulling things together. Yeah, the energetics and the physical, they will meet somewhere in between. In fact, we need to combine. Facebook group. Go through the chat. So scroll through the chat. You'll see a Facebook group. It's called Freedom with Frequency Quantum Community. Valerio, I'll be right with you. Let me just scroll this one down so I can see if there's anything else. With the analysis, I'm not going to do personal analysis, so you can get the mini workbook and you can actually look at that yourself. So Australian Bach flowers are different from, no, Australian bush flowers are different from Bach flowers in a few ways. So Bach flowers are actually flowers from England. Yeah, so Dr. Bach, Edward Bach, was actually from England, and the Bach flowers are actually, Bach flower essences were made in England and in Europe. So they have a different climate, they have a different frequency, vibration of that imprint. Yeah. In my experience and my research, that's just what I've learned, is they're also much gentler. Yeah. Where Australian land frequency, as I said, is quite rugged. Yeah, it's quite tough, and these frequencies are much more resilient. Yeah, and they're much stronger. So, and they're also a bit more modern, because they were made. Bach flowers were made in 1930s. The Australian bush flowers were made in the 80s, 1980s. Yeah, so at the end of 80s. So they're much more relevant to the modern life. And they also have, so Bach flowers have 38 essences, where bush flowers have 68. So there's almost twice as more, meaning they span a larger variety of challenges. They support larger variety of challenges. But they're all essences, all made out of flowers, frequency imprinted into water through solar application. Yeah. Where will the recording is always either in my Facebook group or on a Healy APEC Healy APEC YouTube channel. You will also get it at the end of the month in the email. Yes. Can we run this daily? You can, if your body works with 27 minutes, test it. Jeffrey, that's you. 9 hours, not for everyone. Is it more effective to be barefoot while vibrating? Okay, so this is something that I've been saying for a while. So when you are doing an IMF program, meaning the bracelets, yeah, so it's a microcurrent program, I would definitely, like 99.999% tell you to actually be grounded, because that's where the current goes in and you're charging the cell, and the discharge needs to go somewhere. So if you don't discharge the energy, you will agitate your nervous system. So make sure either that you go and move, yeah, exercise, moving the energy, or you do breath work, or the best option would be to go into the ocean. With Healy you can't, but after the Healy, or walk barefoot while you're doing the Healy. I find, of course, sitting on the earth with the Schumann resonance while you're doing resonance, which is the blue app, actually makes it implements the frequencies better for me. But try it out for your body. But that's how we kind of made of, with frequency, having something that grounds us and actually helps us implement the frequencies and eliminates the disturbance. It has a better effect. Specific programs for nervous system. Literally 2 weeks ago, I've done the nervous system reset. So you can actually go into the Facebook group or on YouTube channel and actually watch the recording. Yes, there's also Australian Bushflowers Essences deck of cards. I actually like, so another thing, you can vibrate the frequencies and you can also use the tincture, so the essences of the Australian Bushflower Essences, yeah? So you can combine them together. You don't have to do either or. You can, but you can also combine them together if you have them. You don't need to, but if you have them, you can. Facebook group, thank you for sharing that again. Literally have it again up top. Okay. You're welcome. Is it database resonance, right? So directly going to run this bushflower, right? No need to run any analysis for this, right? Well, no, any resonance application needs analysis first. Yeah, so you need to do analysis in the resonance app, which is the blue app, and then vibrate that to your body or to your energetic field a bit more correctly. So you always need to do that because you need to know what's going on in your field. How do we realize or identify if 27 is 5 for my body, if my body accepts? Okay, so how do you know what timing is right for you? As I said, start slow and then go, like, do this, I don't know, if you start with 2 minutes or 6 minutes, this is now an example. If you start at 2 minutes, do 2 minutes for 3 days and see how you feel. And then after 3 days, go to 6 minutes. Do 6 minutes for 3 days and see how you feel. So what are you looking for? You're looking for if you get agitated. You're looking for if a lot of emotional stuff comes up. Yeah. So if you get into conflicts, or all of a sudden you start crying, or all of a sudden, become agitated, or you get overwhelmed, or all of a sudden you get really weird dreams or things like that, because those are the energies moving through the body. And if it becomes overwhelming for you, then either you have two options. if you're like me, then you go and do a longer a longer time to actually move the energy through the body faster. But that also means you need to have tools to actually, for emotional regulation, to move energy through the body. So somatic exercises, breath work, so you know what you're doing. If not, and if you're getting overwhelmed, then lower the timing, because then you're not applying as much frequencies, you're not literally sending so much to your body, so your body has time to integrate what's coming to it, and you have time to emotionally regulate whatever is going on within your body, and you have time to move your energy, to go for a walk, to actually move whatever is happening within the body and calm down the nervous system. But if you have tools and if you want to move this energy, you're more than welcome to do it longer. This is how I do it. This is me. Yeah, I go partying all the time. But that's not always a good thing for everyone. Yeah, my body can handle it. I know my body. But if your body can't and you're feeling overwhelmed, lower your timing, please. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Valeriu, I hope I pronounced that correctly. I'm so sorry, but you can ask the question.
Hi, Petra. No, actually, I was not having a question. I would have put it in the chat.
Okay.
At that point, you were making a very, very, very important and excellent remark that we need to look at the patterns that are emerging. Now, I have seen and developed that even wider than what you said here, in the sense that if you do several analyses, you can do, database analysis, you can do chakras, you can even look into coaching or meridians, and those patterns also can be integrated.
Of course.
If you look into the resonance with Healy, what programs would be best for you? It gives you first 5 program groups, and then you have 5 programs in each group. You can even go that deep that you can find maybe hidden causes in the physical body why things, you're feeling unease. It is
Definitely.
that deep. And if you do all those, uh, it's fascinating what you can get.
Of
Results
course.
you never think of.
I
It's
completely
that's
agree
powerful.
with that. I completely agree with that. And that's how I do it personally for myself. But a lot of people get overwhelmed with using multiple resonance databases. So the way that I normally do it, and if that's something anybody wants to do it. So for example, when I scan the Australian bush flowers, I look at the patterns that are emerging. I actually create a specific personalized affirmation out of those patterns, and I can teach you that in the group if you want to. But I create that personalized affirmation, literally combining all the patterns, and then I literally move that into the coaching program, and I apply that information into the coaching program, scan it to see what's coming up. I use the same affirmation and I pop it into the Meridian module on the mag. And I look at what's charging and what's disturbing my energy field, what is literally blocked, what is actually overactive. So I look at all those patterns. And then when I look at the meridians and see what meridians are coming up, I go and look at the chakras, because meridians are feeding the chakras. And then I look at the patterns in the chakras and I see what's overlapping and what's combining. But that's for me. I can handle a lot of information and I know how to connect the dots together. But for a lot of people that are just starting and are wanting to go deeper, one database at a time is actually something that they are willing to handle. And of course, whoever wants to combine, please combine. But make sure
That's why I wanted to complete you, because I had the feeling that this is your approach.
yeah.
However, if it comes from somebody else, and then we resonate, it actually helps people to understand that
I
this is
love
not for
that.
the geek of you. This is
Yeah.
something that
No, no, no,
everybody can develop. I mean,
completely.
I have entered the realm of resonance and information field, in the sense that I am the one to, do all those things for something like a year and a half, not more. I've been
Beautiful.
using Healy for 4.5 years, and actually, it is time waiver that actually saved my life. A doctor with a time waiver when I had Lyme, and I was 6 months away from passing over.
Oh my
So
goodness.
yes. So that then and there I understood that there is something in this information field that it could tell what all kinds of blood tests and all kinds of analysis made by the doctor did not give the result.
Yeah,
The information field is better than the mind of any of us, including doctors. So
completely.
that's when I got, to see that there is something there. But actually, and I got a Healy, but that did not have the resonance because the doctor also prepared the programs for myself in that, 10 expert program group, and that was
Yep.
it. Then I said, this must be shared. This I'd love to, tell people about. It saves, literally saves lives. And this,
Yeah.
I wanted for a while. And then the doctor told me, look, um, it is one of the doctors that is actually from Romania, and it is within the Healy board of advisors, Dr. Barnos.
Beautiful.
Yes, and she said, look, they're developing this in this way, and look, there's gonna be a meeting where the director of Healy comes to Bucharest. Why don't you go? And it was love at first sight. I decided, then and there, and then a very beautiful, journey started for me. Uh,
Amazing.
However, the most you know beautiful, the thing that I resonate with most is the way that it empowers people, helps them to raise their conscious level, even if they only see one presentation, one
Hmm.
business opportunity presentation. That's enough for them to have a maybe small, maybe bigger jump, but they have something, and that's huge. Now, from that to, do multiple analysis and so on, it was only a nice joyride, a very, beautiful and very rewarding. And I always advise you all to not focus on you only. Do analysis with people around you, maybe when you present, maybe this, not always in the presentation, in the one-to-one discussion afterwards. It's not necessarily good that you do this resonance analysis with everybody, but I guarantee that when you do that, you get insights when looking into other people's resonances. they're such a
Definitely.
good they're such a good teacher, a very good
Can I
teacher.
add? Can I add on that? Especially
No,
if
of
those
course,
people.
please.
I love this. Like, this is what I love. I love learning from others, and I love learning from the community, because this is what I love. It's not just me talking to the void, and I see some faces here and there, but
Yeah.
like, I love the conversation, and I love learning from other people, and I love other people's experiences. But what I would like, there's two things that I would love to add on that. We need to understand, with the time waiver and the resonance of Healy, they're different. So the time waiver works on photons, where the Healy resonance works on waves. So we need to understand that it is a bit of a different approach, but that doesn't mean that it's still a resonance, meaning resonating frequency of the balance of an organ, a body, whatever it is, right? And the second thing that I do want to add, is when we are doing resonance analysis for people that we live in, or live with, or surround ourselves with the most, because I've done this many times, and it is a
Or get in
pattern
our
that
way,
comes up.
because there are people that only get in our way, and that's it. They come in our
Not,
way, we do that, and they leave.
yeah,
That's
but
just
I
as well.
do.
good.
what I wanted to add is that when we're actually doing analysis for others, anybody that is surrounding us, yeah, is a mirror of ourselves. So when we're looking at others, we are also seeing the patterns within ourselves. And when we are actually comparing the resonance analysis of people that we are surrounding ourselves with and ours, we can see the emerging patterns. If we are just starting to link the dots and we actually used our environment to reflect what's really not working for us instead of just working on ourselves, we would have more elements in the picture and more pieces of the puzzle to put together. So we would not have as many missing pieces that we really do have now when we're looking at ourselves only. So I love that you shared that. I really love that. So if you are, of course, anyone wants to do a combination of analysis, please do. Just make sure that you understand why you are doing that analysis. Yeah, don't just do Bach flowers and Australia bush flowers and now I want to do like the physical one and then I'm just going to vibrate everything. But
Yeah,
why are
yeah,
you
they have
doing
to be
it?
connected. They have to be connected.
Correct.
I have seen very, very good. I'm not sure I can find them right now, but very, very good videos online from a Chinese therapist that does that. Do YouTube searches, you'll find. She went up to the point to find some in a client of hers some trouble that could not be identified medically.
So, but normally that is like, for example, if you look at we how like well how little do we know about our body? Like even if you just look at the female body, right? When we like a lot of females, this is a literally something that has been forgotten, right? So women used to measure the temperature early in the morning, which is called the basal body temperature, which a lot of women don't understand that it's not about fertility. It's the temperature actually tells you everything about your hormones, everything about your stress, everything about what's going on with your organs of thyroid, of adrenal glands, and your gut and your insulin levels and everything else. And we actually don't know literally almost nothing about our body. And we've forgotten all these ancient remedies and ancient approaches. And that's why Chinese traditional medicine is so good and Ayurveda, because they still have that ingrained, they still have that knowledge that majority of Western world has forgotten. And that's why Australian Aboriginals, for example, Jeffrey and I had this conversation the other day, you know, Australian Aboriginal people know what they're doing. They've been doing it for eons, right? And it's on us to actually start listening. And it's really important to understand that if we don't listen, if we don't learn, and if we're not open and we're just doing things like robots, oh, I need to do this and I need to do this and I need to do this, we're not learning our body. We are learning the steps of robots instead of actually connecting to a body to heal. And without the connection, you won't have the healing. It does not go that way. So thank you. Is it you're from Romania? Is it Valeriu
Yes,
or is it just
yes,
Valeri?
Valeriu. The
Valeriu.
Romanian pronunciation is Valeriu, but I know you don't have
Valeriu. Yeah.
A, so it's Valeriu. It's okay.
No, it's
Yes.
okay. I'm from Europe, so I know it's Valeriu. So it's okay. It's
Ah,
perfectly
you
understandable.
know
Yeah.
that. Okay.
I have Romanian friends as well. So yeah.
Oh, nice, nice,
Yeah,
nice.
my family is all over the world, and that's why it's a problem to celebrate birthdays because you need to find a place to actually catch up. But
Now you
thank
have
you,
one friend more.
Valerium.
Now you
Yes,
know you have one more friend. You know.
thank you.
I
Well,
thank
when
you
I
very
come
much
to
for all the
Romania,
work that you're doing.
thank
I
you.
really really appreciate a lot, and it's more than respect. It's gratitude that I want to send you at the end of our chat. Thank you for letting me share
Of
what I
course.
have learned and known, and wish you all the best.
Thank you, Valerio,
Thank you.
and thank you for sharing. I always love sharing, and I'll always love community joining. So that's always my favorite. Thank you for sharing your experience as well in your story. Okay, so if there's no question anymore, then you can always ask questions in the Facebook group. I'm always present as much as I can be. And of course, the recording will be in the Facebook group as well as on the Healy APAC YouTube channel as well as mine. As soon as I get the link. And then, of course, you'll get all the materials from today in our Facebook group as well. If there's anything else, please pop it into the Facebook group. But for tonight, I will wish you a beautiful night and a beautiful weekend ahead. Next week, Christy, my beautiful team member, will be doing the training, and hope you're loving her trainings as well. I would love to know how that is going. So if you give me some feedback in the Facebook group, I'll be really, really happy of that. So I can share the love with her. But otherwise, I wish you all the best, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a great night. Bye bye.